Hello, everybody. It's Lucas. So this is a short, unscripted video talking about She-Hulk and the stupid things people have said about one scene that's in the first episode. I am currently working on two very long videos about the Hulk, and that will probably take another at least a month, if not more. So I thought I should get something out. But I of course couldn't stray away from the Hulk topic because I'm in too deep. But anyway, She-Hulk is a show I actually didn't like very much. I have seen it once when it came out in 2022. And now I rewatched episode 1 because I was planning on rewatching the whole thing since I'm deep into Hulk right now. But I realized after episode 1 that I didn't want to because I don't the show isn't for me. I don't watch comedies, and the humor in this is not my style. But rewatching it did remind me of this one scene in the first episode that people online just love to bring up in every possible situation, and I wanted to discuss why I disagree with the points that people make about it. Okay, so for the context in the episode, Bruce Banner, the Hulk, the green guy, meets up with Jennifer Walter, his cousin, and they are going on a road trip when they crash, and Jen gets some of his blood and therefore becomes a Hulk.
I saw someone saying that Yen shouldn't have been able to pull Bruce out of the car wreck at the start because he's like 50 pounds heavier than her or something. If you need to learn the fact that a human during moments of extreme stress and adrenaline can do physical feats that shouldn't be physically possible otherwise, I have a great recommendation for what you can watch to learn about that. It's called The Incredible Hulk, 1977.
Because of that, Bruce takes her to like his getaway on a beach, wants to train her to like control her Hulkness and stuff. But the thing about the She-Hulk character and pretty much every other Hulk except for Bruce Banner is that they don't have a divided personality, and therefore they can control their Hulkness. But despite it being very obvious that she can control it, Bruce keeps making her stay there and keeps trying to like coach her and like make her go through everything he went through. She wants to get back to her own life and be a lawyer. Meanwhile, Bruce is basically saying that you're a Hulk now, so you have to become a superhero and change your life around. That is the conflict between them in this episode. She doesn't want to be a superhero while he thinks that a Hulk only can be a superhero. And I guess the whole show is like she Hulk accepting that she is both a lawyer and a superhero. But anyway, in the middle of this conflict between them, Bruce is trying to get her to like do breathing exercises and stuff. Meanwhile, she just keeps asking like, when can I go home? When can I get back to my life? And in this moment, she does a little bit of a monologue, which is the thing that people online always bring up. So I'm going to read the dialogue now. So Bruce says, we can't pretend like we aren't two of the few people on Earth that can actually protect her, which is why we have to make sure of your ability to tolerate the stress and regulate your emotions, especially your anger. And Jen responds here with, here's the thing, Bruce. I'm great at controlling my anger. I do it all the time. When I'm catcalled in the street, when incompetent men explain my own area of expertise to me. I do it pretty much every day because if I don't, I will get called emotional or difficult or might just literally get murdered. So I'm an expert at controlling my anger because I do it infinitely more than you. So all of this just feels like projecting a lot of shit onto me. Side note, the fucking script site I'm using, it censored the word murdered, which, like, you're a script. You don't have to censor the word murder. What is going on? So, that was a bit cringe, right? Right? It wasn't like the epitome of amazing screenwriting. It was no The Godfather. It was no High School Musical. It was no The Muppet Movie. Okay. But the way people talk about it is just like so stupid that I have to defend it because people decide to look at it in the worst possible way. One way I see people try to talk about it is that they take it as Yen saying that her life is harder or that her experiences have been worse than Bruce's, when she's just saying that she has controlled her anger more. But what I most of all see is people going like, Bruce Banner had an abusive father, and his mom is dead, and he killed his father, and then he got bombed, and then he got killed by it just like listing all of the things that have possibly happened to Bruce, and then while Jennifer just gets compliments on the street, and she says that she has felt more anger. And it's like, I think it is like, if you just put off your glasses, and those glasses are like wanting to read the scene to make the character look the worst possible way glasses, if you take those off, I think Jennifer is of course meaning that she can control her anger better than Bruce could pre-Hulk, because obviously she had right now sitting in front of her is a green Hulk Bruce, and he has a whole binder of ways to control his anger that he is trying to teach her. Obviously now he can control his anger great. I think that what she is trying to say is that she has had to control her anger more in her normal life than Bruce ever had in his normal life, because she isn't trying to go off and be a superhero, she's trying to go off and be a normal person. So she is contrasting her experiences as a normal person with Bruce's experiences as a normal person. And to that, she is correct. Yes, for real. Because the MCU Bruce has a whole nother backstory than comics Bruce. Of course, in the comics, Bruce Banner has like one of the worst childhoods of any character, and one of the worst lives overall of any character, even before getting bombed and becoming the Hulk. But in the MCU, none of that happened. His mom is still alive. And do you want to know how I know that his mom, Rebecca, is still alive? It's because she shows up in the last episode of She-Hulk. At the family reunion, there is a woman called Rebecca who Jennifer calls Aunt Rebecca, and in the comics, Bruce's mom has always been named Rebecca. I am gonna turn into the Hulk if I have to think about how Rebecca is alive in the MCU. Like, how could... This is not a video about how the MCU has messed up the Hulk. That's a whole nother video. But yeah, his mom is alive. He has a normal relationship with his mom and his dad, we can presume. It's not completely canon that his dad is like normal, But in a deleted scene from Thor Ragnarok, we know that his dad is dead, but not because he accidentally killed him or because his dad went to a insane asylum or anything like that. No, it's because Bruce was too busy with his work for the government trying to create a super soldier serum, that his dad died of a normal, I don't know, heart condition or old people disease while he was away. So, in MCU canon, Bruce Banner had a normal childhood, then he went off and got 7 PhDs, so we can assume that his family was quite well off money wise. And then he went and worked for the government until he decided to do a stupid experiment on himself. Like, he had like normal person challenges. He got a girlfriend but didn't like her dad. His dad died, but in a normal way. So he had just a very normal life. So Jen is correct. Ah! I said it. Jen is kinda correct, even if she says it in a cringy, annoying way. But that's just because the show is written by millennial women who grew up on, or like who had their teenage years during the like buy me pizza and kiss me era and stuff like that. That's just their humor. It's okay if you don't like their humor, but she is correct about what she's saying. And you know what? She doesn't even says that Bruce's life hasn't been hard. Because if you actually watch the whole episode, in the scene immediately after this, she points out how Bruce has fought in wars, he has lost friends. She says he has no friends, no family, he barely sees his like blood relatives anymore. He is alone on a beach with 10 years of trauma. She says that. She acknowledges that his life has been hard, but the show also makes sure to point out that these two aren't that close. She doesn't know everything about Bruce. She didn't know that he was stuck on Sakar for 2 years, seemingly, because Bruce mentions that, oh, I was the other guy, the Hulk, for 2 years, and she goes, 2 years? I don't want to be She-Hulk for 2 years. And he's like, yeah, that was while I was in space. And she says, yeah, you have barely talked to your blood relatives. So I think that they probably haven't been in contact for like 15 years, if not more. And this road trip they went on was probably to like bond again, because he finally had control over his Hulk, and then they got into a car crash. So I don't think that Jen knows everything that we as an audience know. I think that Jen knows about as much as, like, maybe 10% more than an average MCU civilian. She has probably seen on TV screens Bruce jumping around with the Avengers, saving the day, fixing the blip. We don't even know if Yen was alive during the blip. Another way that people are stupid about this scene is that they completely just misinterpret what Jennifer is saying. A lot of people just focus on exactly what she said, and most of all they just focus on her mentioning being catcalled, and a lot of them don't even say catcalled. They just say that, oh, she was complimented on the street, which is like just wrong. Catcalling is different than getting complimented. Watch the Muppets Take Manhattan and watch the scene when Miss Piggy gets pig called. Like, that is not just complimenting, that's harassment. Go and read a fucking book or something on I don't know, sexism. and like, it's not just getting catcalled. It's like, obviously her sentence entails more than that. It's like what she is saying is that the whole experience of being a woman has made her better at controlling her anger. Now I'm not a woman. I'm a very manly masculine man, as you can tell from my manly masculine voice. And I've never been catcalled on the street or anything like that. But I imagine that getting catcalled and getting patronized at work isn't just the be and end all of what Jen is talking about. What she is referring to is the fact that getting catcalled or patronized is like a little symptom and a little constant reminder of the way violence against women is is incorporated into society, and a reminder of how every day a man can just decide to go out and murder you or assault you for no reason, and the reminder that that happens every day to thousands, millions of women around the world, and the fact that even when men go to trial about it, it's usually no justice. That's what she's talking about. It's not just literally being catcalled. She is. It's more than that. Come on, read between the lines. I know that you weren't listening during school, but when your teacher said that the curtain was blue for a reason, sometimes the words characters are saying are blue for a reason, and they have more meaning than the words they are literally saying, because the episode is like 40 minutes long and also PG-13, so they can't say words like rape and stuff and go into the whole history of women getting murdered and harassed and blah, 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 by men and all of that. But obviously, she is not just talking about getting catcalled, you stupid fucking bitch. You are choosing to take it like that. Also, I found a really funny comment that was like, and this scene of Jennifer Walters is saying that her life has been so much harder than Bruce's is why the MCU will never show male victims of abuse. And this comment was written when when the first episode of She-Hulk came out, and that episode came out in August of 2022, and the fifth episode of Moon Knight came out in what month of 2022? That's right, in April of 2022, a few months before She-Hulk came out. And what happens in the fifth episode of Moon Knight? That's right, they show Stephen Grant and Mark Spector being male victims of abuse. What are you even talking about? And don't forget Sentry 2, which obviously the commenter couldn't have known about at the time. But still, did you even watch Moon Knight? You're a fake fan, you specific anonymous commenter. You're a fake MCU fan.
And I get that people wanted more Bruce content in the series, and for it to be more like a Hulk and She-Hulk show than just a She-Hulk show. In the finale, the She-Hulk show basically jokes about that. But anyway, I get that. In my longer Hulk video, I will talk about how I would want more Bruce in this as well, or for the concept of the show to be reworked. But the truth is that Mark Ruffalo is a very famous and very busy actor. He was literally busy playing Bark Ruffalo right before this show. I don't think that Bruce being absent in the show is because of woke or because of women. I think it's just because they couldn't afford him, or they couldn't fix his scheduling, or that they couldn't afford not just him, but to constantly CGI him into that big green Professor Hulk abomination. I don't think it was in the writer's hand whether Bruce was gonna be there or not, sorry.
Anyway, I think that was everything I wanted to say. Sometimes scenes are cringe, but that doesn't mean that the cringy scene came in through your window in the middle of the night and killed your whole family and your guinea pig. And you don't have to bring it up for the next 3 years in your YouTube thumbnails, and every time somebody talks about post Endgame and MCU, you don't have to bring it up every fucking time as an example of bad feminist writing, because sometimes it's just bad writing and you can move on from it. Nobody is forcing you to watch She-Hulk, and I can tell that you didn't watch it with your eyes open, because if so, you would have noticed Rebecca being there, and as a real Hulk fan, you would have gone into a blind rage about it every time you thought about it, and that would have been what you were talking about after seeing She-Hulk. Instead of that cringy scene, you would have been talking about the way the MCU has destroyed the Hulk character, instead of a stupid scene that isn't even the climax of the episode or even the most important scene in the episode. It comes halfway through the episode. It's not the climax. It's not the emotional climax. It's part of the build up. It is not an important thing. You are making it too important. You are letting it live rent free in your mind, and you have to instead let Bruce Banner lore and the fact that his mom is alive live rent free in your mind, so that we together can walk up to MCU headquarters and tell them to please, Mark Ruffalo is a great actor. He can do more with the Hulk role if you would let him. It's not too late to change the canon around, since only me and me alone remembers that Rebecca is canonically alive, and it is only me and I alone who remember that deleted scene from Thor Ragnarok. You can still change the lore, MCU. You can still give Bruce the proper backstory, and that is what you should focus on, instead of a cringy scene from a fucking sitcom comedy from 2022. Go rewatch Moon Knight episode 5. Good night.